The old attic was dusty and dim, filled with forgotten relics. Sunbeams illuminated cobwebs and cast long shadows. Jack and Mia were on a mission. They dug through trunks filled with old clothes and photographs. Mia sneezed as a cloud of dust erupted. Jack let out a triumphant shout.
Found it!
He held up a leather-bound journal. It belonged to their grandfather, a renowned explorer. Mia noticed a faded map inside the journal. It depicted a shadowy island with an X marking a spot.
Shadow Island!
She whispered. The name sent a shiver down her spine. Their grandfather had spoken of this island and its treasure. He filled their childhoods with stories of ancient ruins and daring escapes. Now they held the key to uncovering the truth.
This is it, Mia. This is the map to Grandpa's greatest discovery.
Mia hesitated.
Are you sure, Jack? What if it's just a story? What if there's nothing there?
Jack grinned, his confidence unwavering.
Grandpa wouldn't tell stories that weren't true. There's treasure on that island, Mia. I can feel it in my bones. And we're going to find it.
Mia, despite her reservations, couldn't help but be swept up in her brother's infectious enthusiasm. The allure of adventure, of unraveling a mystery that had captivated their family for generations, was too strong to resist. She looked at the map again, her fingers tracing the faded lines that represented treacherous cliffs and dense jungle. A thrill, equal parts excitement and trepidation, coursed through her.
All right, let's do it. Let's find the treasure of Shadow Island.
But Mia, ever practical, knew that a successful expedition required careful planning.
Hold on, Captain Jack. We can't just charge off into the unknown. We need supplies, a plan, and we're not going anywhere without telling Mum and Dad where we're going.
Jack, his energy momentarily dampened, slumped onto a dusty trunk.
Fine, but we're going to need a really good story to convince them to let us go.
Mia laughed, shaking her head at her brother's impulsiveness. They spent the rest of the afternoon poring over the map, deciphering their grandfather's cryptic notes and making a list of essential supplies. They knew this would be no ordinary adventure. Shadow Island, according to their grandfather's journals, was a place of mystery and danger, shrouded in legend and whispered rumors. But they were determined to face whatever challenges awaited them, driven by a thirst for adventure and the unshakable belief that they were about to embark on the greatest treasure hunt of their lives. The attic, once a place of forgotten memories, was transformed into a hive of activity. Jack and Mia, fueled by the promise of adventure, emptied boxes and trunks, their laughter echoing through the dusty rafters. Mia, ever organized, took charge of the supplies, carefully laying out their grandfather's old compass, a first aid kit, and a sturdy backpack. She insisted on packing extra flashlights, knowing that Shadow Island's depths were sure to hold dark and unexplored corners. Jack, his eyes gleaming with excitement, rummaged through a trunk filled with his grandfather's old camping gear. He pulled out a weather-beaten canvas tent, its faded fabric whispering tales of past expeditions.
This is perfect, just like Grandpa used.
Mia, ever practical, shook her head at her brother's enthusiasm for antiquated equipment.
Are you sure that thing even works? It looks like it hasn't seen the light of day in decades.
Undeterred, Jack grabbed a dusty kerosene bottle and, after several attempts, managed to coax a flickering flame from the lantern's wick. The attic, bathed in a warm orange glow, seemed to come alive with the spirit of adventure. As they packed, they shared stories of their grandfather's exploits, their imaginations running wild with visions of hidden temples, booby-trapped caves, and of course the legendary treasure that awaited them. With their backpacks overflowing and their excitement reaching fever pitch, Jack and Mia knew they had a significant hurdle to overcome, convincing their parents. Their mum, a renowned historian with a penchant for logic and a healthy dose of skepticism, would need irrefutable evidence and a well-structured plan. Their dad, an adventurous soul at heart, would likely be easier to persuade, but even he would have concerns about their safety. They decided to approach their parents separately, hoping to appeal to their individual sensibilities. Mia, armed with the map, her grandfather's journal, and a well-rehearsed speech highlighting the historical significance of their quest, approached their mother first. She emphasized the educational value of the expedition, promising detailed notes and sketches of any artifacts they might uncover. Jack, meanwhile, sought out their dad, regaling him with tales of daring escapes and cunning deductions, painting a picture of himself and Mia as intrepid explorers following in their grandfather's footsteps. He knew his dad wouldn't be able to resist the allure of a good adventure story. After what felt like an eternity, their parents finally emerged from their respective conversations. Their faces, to Jack and Mia's relief, held a mixture of apprehension and reluctant admiration. Their mum, though still harboring reservations, had been swayed by Mia's meticulous planning and the undeniable historical value of their grandfather's journal. Their dad, his eyes twinkling with a familiar glint of adventure, had been completely won over by Jack's enthusiastic tales.
All right, you can go, but you need to promise me you'll be careful. Call us every day, stick to the plan, and don't take any unnecessary risks.
Jack and Mia loaded their supplies into a small sailboat, excitement in the air. The rising sun cast long shadows across the water.
Oh, I can hardly wait, Mia.
Their parents saw them off with last-minute instructions.
Don't worry, Mum and Dad. We've got everything under control.
Mia double-checked their provisions and life jackets. Jack hoisted the sail, catching the breeze.
Here we go, Mia.
They pulled away from the dock, the town receding. A thick fog began to descend, enveloping the boat.
I don't like this fog, Jack. It's unsettling.
Relax, Mia. It's just a little fog.
Mia smiled at her brother's optimism. They were on their way to Shadow Island. The air crackled with anticipation. They were about to embark on the adventure of a lifetime. The fog, thick as cotton wool, pressed in on all sides, swallowing the world beyond the sailboat. Mia strained her eyes against the impenetrable whiteness. Even the sun, a hazy disk, offered little comfort.
I can't see anything, Jack.
The gentle rocking of the boat amplified her unease. She could hear the faint creaking of the mast. Jack consulted their grandfather's compass. The needle pointed them toward their destination.
Don't worry, Mia. Grandpa said the fog was a guardian. We just have to trust the compass.
His confidence calmed her racing heart. She drew a deep breath, the salty air a reminder of the vastness.
You're right. Grandpa always said the best adventures came with mystery.
She glanced again at the compass, its needle a beacon. They were alone, adrift in a world where the familiar rules of land seemed to dissolve. But somewhere beyond the fog lay Shadow Island. The fog began to dissipate, revealing the landscape. Wispy tendrils swirled around the boat before dissolving. The world snapped into focus. Ahead lay Shadow Island. Its shores, cloaked in a dense canopy, exuded mystery.
Look, Jack, there it is.
Jagged cliffs guarded its perimeter. The sight sent a shiver down Mia's spine. The island possessed an aura of isolation.
This is it, Mia. This is Shadow Island.
Jack let out a whoop of delight. He guided the boat toward a small sandy inlet. The air grew heavy with the scent of damp earth.
This is Shadow Island.
He jumped ashore eagerly. Mia followed cautiously, senses on high alert. The island seemed to pulsate with a life force.
It's incredible.
The island held a strange allure. It was a place untouched by the modern world. They were stepping into one of their grandfather's stories. They pulled the sailboat onto the sandy shore, securing it to a gnarled tree trunk. Jack, unable to contain his excitement, began unpacking their supplies. Mia, on high alert, scanned their surroundings. The air buzzed with unseen insects. Leaves rustled with small creatures. The dense forest beckoned them deeper.
Let's find that treasure, Mia.
Jack exclaimed, hoisting his backpack. He held out the map, guiding their every move. The first clue can't be far from here. Mia smiled at her brother's enthusiasm. They were on Shadow Island, ready for adventure. She reached for her backpack, feeling her grandfather's compass. A sound pierced the air, shattering the stillness. It was a high-pitched screech filled with urgency. Jack froze, eyes wide with fear and excitement. Mia reached for her hunting knife. This was not the sound of harmless wildlife. This was something primal, from the heart of the island.
What was that?
Jack whispered, his voice barely audible. Mia scanned the tree line, offering no explanation. The screech echoed, then faded into silence. They were no longer alone. Shadow Island had been expecting them. The eerie screech faded, leaving a lingering tension. Jack clutched the map tighter, his knuckles white. Mia drew her hunting knife, its blade glinting in the dappled sunlight.
Stay close.
She whispered, her voice barely audible. They followed a barely discernible path, remnants of their grandfather's explorations. Thorny vines forced them to duck and weave.
Do you think it was just an animal?
Probably just a bird.
They pressed onward, the island testing their resolve. The path grew steeper, leading them through a labyrinth of trees. The air heavy with pine needles and damp earth muffled sound. Mia felt a growing sense of unease, the forest alive in a way that sent shivers down her spine. Whispers on the breeze seemed to dance at the edge of her hearing.
Did you hear that?
Hear what?
Nothing, just the wind.
She forced a smile, but deep down she knew it was more than just the wind. The forest held secrets, ancient and powerful. It wasn't ready to share them with outsiders. The path leveled out, leading to a small clearing. In the center stood a solitary oak tree, its bark etched with strange symbols. Its shadow pointed at a patch of moss-covered ground.
Look!
Jack pointed at a weathered stone tablet half buried in the earth. Mia recognized the language of riddles from their grandfather's journals.
To find the key, look to the 3 where shadows meet under the ancient tree.
Mia noticed 3 smaller trees at the edge of the clearing.
The shadows? The riddle says to look where the shadows meet.
Their excitement grew as they deciphered the riddle. Excitement coursed through them as they converged on the spot where the shadows intersected. Jack dropped to his knees, digging into the soft earth. Mia scanned their surroundings, her hand on her knife.
I think I've got something.
Jack held aloft a small wooden chest. Mia knelt beside him, her gaze fixed on the chest.
Careful, there's no telling what's inside.
Jack fumbled with the clasp, finally opening the chest. Inside lay a compass, its needle spinning wildly. The compass pointed towards the heart of the island. With the compass as their guide, Jack and Mia plunged deeper into the heart of Shadow Island. The path wound through a labyrinth of trees and boulders. The air grew heavy with humidity, the scent of damp earth and decaying vegetation. Jack clutched the compass tightly, his excitement tempered by unease. They abandoned conversation, the forest demanding their full attention. Every rustle of leaves sent their pulses racing. The path began to descend, the air growing cooler. The vegetation grew denser, the sunlight struggling to penetrate the canopy. As they rounded a bend, the forest floor disappeared, replaced by a yawning chasm. A natural bridge formed from a fallen tree trunk spanned the chasm. The sight of the chasm sent a shiver down Mia's spine. The bridge offered the only way forward.
Stay close.
Step by cautious step, they edged onto the fallen log. The air grew colder, the smell of damp earth replaced by the sharp, mineral scent of a cave.
As they reached the cave entrance, a low growl echoed through the chasm.
Jack froze, his blood turning to ice. Mia spun around, her knife raised. Emerging from the cave was a creature with eyes glowing with an eerie emerald fire. It seemed ripped from their grandfather's most fantastical tales. Standing before them was a dinosaur, its scales shimmering in the faint light.
Halt, I am Rex, guardian of this cave.
Jack stared at the creature, his mouth agape.
Rex, we mean you no harm. We seek only passage through this cave.
Passage is not freely given. Only those with wit and courage may proceed. You will face 3 challenges. Succeed, and the path forward will be revealed. Fail, and you will remain here, forever bound to this island's embrace.
Fear clawed at Mia's composure. They were trapped, caught between the abyss and this imposing creature. They had come too far to turn back now.
We accept your challenge, Rex, Mia said, her voice steady.
Rex let out a low rumble that shook the cave.
Very well, it boomed, echoing off the walls. Listen closely, for I speak in riddles.
A tense silence descended, broken by dripping water.
I speak without a mouth and hear without ears. I have no body, yet I come alive with the wind. What am I?
Mia racked her brain, searching for the answer. Jack, deep in thought, searched the cave.
I speak without a mouth, she whispered.
An echo, she exclaimed.
Rex let out a low rumble considering her answer. The air crackled with anticipation. Finally, Rex smiled, its teeth gleaming.
Correct, young one, it boomed. You have solved the first riddle. Many have faced my challenges, but few overcome them.
The air crackled with nervous energy as Rex prepared to deliver the next challenge. Mia's correct answer hung in the air, a fragile victory amidst the darkness.
We did it, 1 down, 2 to go.
Jack leaned closer to Mia, his eyes bright with fear and exhilaration. Mia couldn't shake the feeling that the challenges would only grow more difficult.
We can't afford to become complacent.
Rex's gaze seemed to pierce through them, measuring their resolve. The island was testing them, pushing them to their limits.
The second challenge tests your understanding of time's passage. Listen closely, for the answer lies in the whispers of wisdom. I am tall when I am young, and I am short when I am old. What am I?
The riddle hung in the air, challenging their intellect. Mia racked her brain, searching for something that fit Rex's description. Jack, his brow furrowed, chewed on his lower lip, hoping the answer was hidden among the shadows. Mia closed her eyes, blocking out the distractions of the cave. She focused on Rex's words, searching for a hidden meaning.
Tall when young, short when old.
A memory from their childhood, a cold winter evening by the fireplace, the flickering flames, the scent of burning wood, their grandfather, his eyes twinkling, challenging them with riddles. And then it struck her, the answer, as clear as the flame.
A candle!
Rex, its head cocked, remained silent, the air thick with anticipation. Jack, his eyes wide, looked at Mia, pleading for an explanation.
A candle? How is a candle the answer?
Mia, her confidence growing, met Rex's gaze, explaining her reasoning.
As it burns, it grows shorter, its light diminishing. A candle starts tall and proud, its flame burning bright.
Rex, its eyes gleaming with approval, let out a low rumble.
Indeed, young one. You have shown wisdom beyond your years. The final challenge awaits.
Rex shifted its weight, its massive claws scraping against the stone floor. A palpable tension filled the air as Rex, its massive form looming over them, prepared to deliver the final challenge. Jack and Mia exchanged a nervous glance, the weight of their situation settling upon them. They had faced riddles before, but this was different.
This final challenge will probe your courage, compassion, and belief in each other. The final riddle is a paradox, a truth hidden in plain sight. Choose your words carefully, young ones. The answer you seek is also the path you must choose. The more of this there is, the less you see. What is it?
The riddle hung in the air, a challenge to their perception. And then, in a moment of clarity, the answer struck him.
Darkness. The more darkness there is, the less we can see.
Rex remained silent for a moment, then smiled.
Indeed, you have shown wisdom and perception. The path forward is open to you. Go now, and may your journey be filled with wonder.
With a final rumble, Rex stepped aside, revealing the passage that lay beyond. Following the compass, Jack and Mia navigated the dimly lit tunnel, the air heavy with moss and damp earth. The tunnel twisted, revealing glowing crystals and shimmering pools of water. Jack traced intricate patterns on the cool cave walls, feeling like they were walking through time. Mia, ever cautious, kept a watchful eye, her hand near her knife. The tunnel widened into a vast chamber, dimly lit from above. In the center, a circular platform with shifting symbols awaited them. Jack and Mia cautiously made their way down a winding path to the chamber floor. The air grew colder, the silence pressing in on them. Symbols on the platform pulsated with energy. In the center, on a pedestal, lay a silver chest. Jack reached out and the symbols flared to life. The chest slowly swung open, revealing leather-bound journals.
These are Grandfather's journals.
Mia gently lifted one of the journals. Images of far-off lands and ancient ruins flashed through her mind. A profound sense of peace settled over the chamber as Jack and Mia, their initial disappointment at the lack of traditional treasure replaced by a deeper understanding, began to explore the contents of their grandfather's journals. The silver chest, far from being empty, overflowed with a wealth of knowledge, a lifetime's worth of experiences meticulously recorded in his elegant handwriting. There were detailed accounts of his explorations, maps of uncharted territories, sketches of exotic plants and animals, and observations on the customs and beliefs of cultures long since vanished. They discovered tales of daring escapes and harrowing encounters, of puzzles solved and mysteries unraveled. They read about moments of triumph and moments of despair, of the lessons learned and the wisdom gained through a lifetime of pushing the boundaries of the known world. And woven through it all like a golden thread connecting each page, each adventure was their grandfather's unwavering belief in the power of knowledge, the importance of preserving history, and the enduring strength of family bonds. In one of the journals, they found a letter addressed to them, penned years earlier, as if their grandfather had known they would one day embark on this journey, that they would find their way to this hidden chamber and uncover his legacy.
My dear grandchildren,
The letter began, his words flowing across the page as if he were speaking directly to them, his voice echoing faintly in the silence of the chamber.
if you are reading this, then you have proven yourselves worthy of the greatest treasure I can bestow, not gold nor jewels, but the stories of a life lived to the fullest, the wisdom gained through experience, and the knowledge that the greatest adventures are those shared with loved ones.
As they turned the brittle pages, the weight of their grandfather's words settled upon them like a warm embrace. They realized that the true treasure of Shadow Island wasn't something material, but something far more valuable. The legacy of a life well lived, the stories that connected them to their grandfather's spirit, and the realization that the greatest adventures weren't about what they found, but who they shared them with. The journey back to the surface, once fraught with uncertainty and danger, now felt like a victory lap, each step carrying them closer to the sunlight and the familiar world they had left behind. The challenges they had faced, the riddles solved, and the fears overcome had forged a bond between them stronger than any treasure, a shared experience that would forever connect them to their grandfather's adventurous spirit. As they emerged from the cave, blinking in the bright sunlight, the island seemed different, its shadows less menacing, its secrets shared. They stood at the edge of the chasm, the fallen log bridge, no longer a precarious obstacle, but a symbol of the challenges they had overcome. A reminder that even the most daunting obstacles could be conquered with courage, ingenuity, and an unwavering belief in each other. They made their way back to the shore, their pace lighter now, their hearts filled with a newfound appreciation for the simple wonders of the natural world, the sound of the waves crashing against the shore, the feel of the warm sand beneath their feet, the scent of salt air, and the promise of adventure that lingered in the breeze. They reached their sailboat, its white sail billowing gently in the wind, a beacon of hope and a reminder of the journey that lay ahead. A journey that would carry them not to some distant island in search of material wealth, but back to the familiar shores of home, their hearts overflowing with the true treasures they had discovered within themselves and within the legacy of their extraordinary grandfather.